Listen, success isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small decisions you make every single day. Maybe it's reading that extra chapter. Maybe it's making that difficult phone call. Maybe it's pushing through when you're tired. These daily choices shape your destiny. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Not every forever is meant to last. And that's not failure. That's life doing what life does. Changing, shifting, revealing. We grow, we outgrow. We see clearly what we once saw through rose-colored glass. Just because something felt right once doesn't mean it's still right now. Some people are bridges, not destinations. They get you from one place to another, but they were never meant to stay. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you free yourself. Holding on to something just because it lasted a while doesn't mean it's meant to last forever. And letting go, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. Let me ask you something straight. How long have you been clinging to something that already released you? How long have you been replaying old conversations, chasing old sparks, begging old energy to come back and warm you? You keep hoping they'll change, but they've already moved on. You keep showing up for someone who stopped showing up for you. And in the process, you're losing more than love. You're losing yourself. Do you even recognize the version of you that keeps shrinking just to be kept? That keeps apologizing for needing love? That feels like love? Love isn't supposed to feel like anxiety. It's not supposed to feel like waiting by the phone, wondering what you did wrong, trying to prove you're worth staying for. That's not love. That's emotional survival. And survival is not where you thrive. So ask yourself, are you holding on to what's already let go of you? Or are you ready to finally let go and reclaim the parts of you that forgot what peace feels like? Let me ask you something straight. How long have you been clinging to something that already released you? How long have you been replaying old conversations, chasing old sparks, begging old energy to come back and warm you? You keep hoping they'll change, but they've already moved on. You keep showing up for someone who stopped showing up for you. And in the process, you're losing more than love. You're losing yourself. Do you even recognize the version of you that keeps shrinking just to be kept? That keeps apologizing for needing love? That feels like love? Love isn't supposed to feel like anxiety. It's not supposed to feel like waiting by the phone, wondering what you did wrong, trying to prove you're worth staying for. That's not love. That's emotional survival. And survival is not where you thrive. So ask yourself, are you holding on to what's already let go of you? Or are you ready to finally let go and reclaim the parts of you that forgot what peace feels like? That breakup wasn't punishment. That goodbye wasn't failure. That closed door, it was protection in disguise. You think God said no to love, but maybe He was saying yes to your healing. Maybe what felt like rejection was actually redirection. Think about it. You were drowning in confusion, waiting on clarity from someone who never planned to give it. You were chasing consistency in chaos. But what if that door had to close so you could finally stop begging for crumbs and start receiving the feast you deserve? Sometimes God doesn't explain the closure. He just delivers it. Because if He waited for you to understand, you'd still be there, trying to resuscitate something that already died. Stop seeing closed doors as curses. Start seeing them as course corrections. Because He's not taking something from you. He's guiding you to something better. But you'll never reach it if you keep staring at what's gone. This heartbreak you're feeling, it's not the end of you. It's the making of you. Pain is not pointless. It's a process. And behind every tear, behind every sleepless night, there's something deeper unfolding. Growth, strength, clarity, the kind of clarity you never would have gained if the door had stayed open. You're not just losing love, you're gaining truth. And truth, real truth, is what sets you free. This isn't just pain, this is purpose in progress. And you've got two choices right now: break down or break through. So let this be the start of something. Let this be the moment you decide if the door closed, it's because something better is about to open. And when it does, you'll be ready to walk through it, not wounded, but wiser. We've been taught to believe that if something ends, it means we messed up. That if someone walks away, we weren't enough. That if the door closes, it's because we were locked out, forgotten, left behind, dismissed. But let me flip that thinking. What if that closed door wasn't rejection, but protection? Just because the opportunity didn't open, doesn't mean you weren't worthy. Sometimes the closed door is exactly what keeps you from walking into something that would have broken you later. That closed door might have saved you from years of confusion, from loving someone who didn't know how to love you back, from wasting your purpose on someone who only wanted your presence. You weren't denied, you were covered by something greater, covered by grace, covered by a God who saw what you couldn't. Closed doesn't mean condemned, it means covered. It means not this way, not this time, not with them. And that might be the kindest answer you ever received, even if it didn't feel like it at first. You didn't fail, you didn't lose, you didn't fall short. You were protected, protected, protected. Let that settle for a second, because when someone leaves, or when something ends, we automatically go inward. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Why wasn't I enough? But sometimes the answer isn't in what you lacked, it's in what you were spared from. That closed door wasn't a dead end, it was a divine reroute, a turn you didn't expect but absolutely needed, like a GPS that recalculates, because you missed the road you thought was right, only to lead you to a route that saves you hours, energy, and heartbreak. Stop reading every ending as a failure. Some endings are instructions, some heartbreaks are holy interruptions. You didn't fail, you were redirected. And when God steps in like that, He's not just closing a chapter, He's rewriting the whole book with something deeper, better, and more aligned with the version of you you're still becoming. Be honest. How many nights did you lay there, praying for clarity, begging for peace, asking for signs? You didn't want it to end, but deep down, you knew it couldn't stay the way it was. So what if the ending wasn't a punishment, but an answer to the prayers you whispered between the tears, the ones that said, God, if this isn't right, show me. If this isn't love, free me. And He did. He answered in silence, in distance, in the door that slowly shut while you were still standing in it. But you didn't recognize it as an answer, because it came wrapped in pain. And we think answers should feel good, but sometimes the best answers break us first, so they can build us back stronger. Stop calling it a mistake just because it hurts. Sometimes pain is how clarity speaks. And the peace you're craving, it begins when you stop reopening doors God already closed for your protection. Here's the fork in the road, real and raw. You can keep looking back. You can keep holding on to the version of love that drained you. You can keep waiting for them to become who you hoped they'd be. Or you can walk forward. You can let go of what hurt you, what confused you, what made you feel like too much and not enough at the same time. You can stop negotiating your peace just to be loved halfway, because every minute you cling to what broke you, you block what's meant to build you. This isn't about blaming them. This is about choosing you. Choosing healing over history. Choosing peace over potential. Choosing reality over fantasy. Because yes, it's scary to walk away from what's familiar, but healing doesn't happen in the familiar. It happens when you dare to walk into the unknown, trusting that what's ahead won't just feel different, it will be better. So choose, cling to the pain, or walk toward the healing. The door's already closed. The only thing left is whether you'll stay behind it, or step beyond it. We take rejection personally. We see it as a verdict, as a final sentence stamped on our worth. But what if rejection isn't the end? What if it's divine redirection in disguise? Let me tell you something. God doesn't say no to hurt you. He says no to help you. When the door closed, it wasn't because you weren't lovable. It was because that space couldn't carry the weight of your calling. That relationship couldn't hold the depth of your future. That situation couldn't nourish your soul the way you needed to grow. Sometimes we pray for peace, but cling to chaos. We ask for purpose, but chase what's popular. And when it all falls apart, we call it failure. But heaven sees it differently. Heaven calls it realignment. Rejection isn't destruction, it's direction. It's the first step in leading you to what was made with your soul in mind. Don't fight it, follow it. You're not off course, you're just in a turn you didn't see coming.
Think about how a GPS works. You miss a turn or take the wrong exit, and what happens? It doesn't shut down. It doesn't scold you. It simply recalculates. It finds a new way to get you where you were always meant to go.
You're surrounded by people who don't have the depth to meet you, trying to force connections in spaces that were never designed to hold your heart. And every time you try to dim yourself to make them comfortable, you rob the world of your light. There's nothing wrong with you, but everything changes when you stop begging to be seen by people who refuse to look. Your people exist. The ones who hear your silence, who honor your energy, who don't just tolerate you but treasure you. But you won't find them if you're still waiting in rooms where you were only meant to pass through. Leave the wrong rooms, let them mislabel you. Just don't let them define you. It's not the moment they walked away that haunts you. It's what came after. The silence, the stillness, the sudden absence of noise, routine, comfort, even if that comfort was chaotic. You used to argue, text, call, wonder. Now there's just nothing. And somehow that's worse. Because it's in the silence that your mind gets loud. It starts spinning. Was I not enough? Did I mess this up? Why wasn't I worth fighting for? That's the part no one prepares you for. The emotional aftershock. The moment the chaos ends, but the ache begins. When your body is free, but your soul feels trapped in what was. Let me tell you something. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean you failed. Just because they're gone doesn't mean you're unworthy. Sometimes the silence isn't there to hurt you. It's there to hold you, to force you to stop chasing and finally sit with yourself. Not to break, but to begin again. We've all been there, lying in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every moment, every red flag you ignored, and every good memory you're trying to forget. You start thinking it was your fault, that maybe if you were quieter, or softer, or less you, they would have stayed. Maybe if you gave more, loved harder, bent further, they would have loved you back the way you needed. But here's the truth, those thoughts, they're not facts, they're echoes. Leftover noise from someone else's lack, someone else's fear, someone else's inability to love you in the way you were always meant to be loved. Your worth didn't walk away when they did. It didn't disappear in the silence. It's still there, steady and whole, even if you can't feel it right now. Those 2 a.m. doubts, they're just noise, not your truth. Don't let a broken connection become the mirror you use to see yourself. What if this silence isn't punishment? What if it's permission? Permission to rest, to breathe, to rediscover who you are without the weight of trying to be enough for someone who couldn't see you clearly. What if this emptiness is the first time the noise is finally cleared? And now, you can hear your own voice again. You've been surviving on crumbs. Now you have a table. You've been waiting for someone to see your light. Now you can finally look in the mirror and see it for yourself. It doesn't feel good right now. I know that. But growth rarely does. The cocoon is tight. The process is dark. But the butterfly still emerges every single time. You didn't lose everything. You gained space. Space for peace, for healing, for vision. Maybe the silence isn't here to take from you. Maybe it's here to return you to yourself. Think of your heart like soil. When someone leaves, it feels like everything's been ripped out, empty, barren, like nothing good could possibly come from this ache. But that's the lie pain tells. Because what feels like emptiness is actually preparation. Before anything grows, the ground must break. The trench must be dug. The space must be cleared. Only then can new roots take hold. You're not broken, you're being planted. You're not forgotten, you're being prepared. It's in this very emptiness that depth is formed, that strength is built, that patience becomes power. Don't curse the soil, don't run from the silence. Let it do what it's meant to do. Let it shape you. Because soon something will take root inside you that no one will be able to shake. And when it does, you'll look back and realize, this wasn't a grave. It was a garden. That hollow feeling in your chest, it's not a sign that something's wrong with you. It's a sign that something is being made right, deep within. You're not haunted by the past. You're healing from it. The space, the quiet, the distance, it all hurts because healing stretches us. It forces us to feel what we tried to avoid. But that's where the power is. That's where the light gets in. This void isn't a curse. It's not proof of your failure. It's proof that something has ended, so something greater can begin. And while it might not make sense right now, one day you'll be grateful they left. Grateful for the silence. Grateful for the dark nights. Because it was there in that stillness that you started to remember your strength. You're not lost. You're not stuck. You're being shaped. You're being steadied. This isn't the end of your story. It's the part where you come alive again. You keep asking, why did this happen to me? But maybe the better question is, what is this getting me ready for? You're not being punished. You're being prepared. That door didn't close to punish you. That relationship didn't end to leave you empty. It ended to make room. For what? For something stronger, something sacred, something built to last. You weren't abandoned. You were aligned. See, pain is a strange teacher. It doesn't show up with soft words. It shows up with sharp lessons. But if you lean in, if you don't run from it, you'll find clarity you couldn't see before. This season might feel heavy, but heavy doesn't mean hopeless. You're not buried. You're being built. Every tear, every silence, every disappointment, it's shaping something in you that will carry weight when it's time. Don't mistake the quiet for absence. Don't mistake the loss for failure. This isn't punishment. This is preparation. You say you want real love, unshakable, steady, soulful love, but you're still holding on to someone who couldn't even give you honesty. Let that sink in. God doesn't give diamonds to people who still cling to glass. If you keep settling for imitation, don't be surprised when the real thing slips through your fingers. That situationship you were in, that was glass. Shiny, maybe, but sharp when it shattered. And now your hands are bleeding from trying to pick up what was never meant to last. Stop idolizing what almost was. Stop chasing someone who was never equipped to love you at your level. God isn't trying to hurt you. He's trying to protect you from heartbreaks you couldn't see, from futures you were never meant to walk into. It's not about who left, it's about who's coming. And if you want the real thing, you've got to let go of what's fake. It's time to raise your standard. You weren't made for broken love. You were made for something rare. And rare doesn't beg to be noticed. You were not made to wake up wondering where you stand, to second guess every text, to question your worth based on someone else's attention span. You were built for more than mixed signals. You were created for clear love, steady love, love that doesn't disappear when it gets hard. Emotional starvation happens when you feed everyone else and forget to nourish yourself. And that's what you've been doing, starving for peace, while pouring out to someone who couldn't pour back. That's not love. That's a slow leak. And the longer you stay, the more of yourself you lose. Real love doesn't confuse you. It calms you. It doesn't drain you. It fills you. So if you feel like you're constantly guessing, constantly giving, constantly doubting, step back. Because that's not connection. That's self-abandonment, wearing the mask of loyalty. You weren't created to chase. You were created to be cherished. Let's be real. How many times did you twist yourself into someone else just to be picked? How many times did you quiet your voice, lower your needs, play it cool, just hoping they'd notice you? But let me ask you something. Why keep begging to be chosen by someone who never saw your full worth in the first place? You don't need to audition for love. You don't need to shrink to fit into someone else's preference. If they couldn't see you fully, clearly, deeply, they were never meant to carry your heart. You were never hard to love. You were just too much for someone who didn't have the capacity. You are not invisible. You are not too much. You are not hard to love. You were just in the wrong story. And now you get to choose differently. Now you get to stop chasing and start standing. Because real love doesn't require begging. It requires being. You've cried enough tears, lost enough sleep, questioned your worth more times than you can count. But hear me now, better is coming, better in love. Love that doesn't make you guess, better in peace, the kind that doesn't need validation, better in alignment, where your values, your heart, and your purpose finally meet. You're not too late, you're not too far gone.
and you haven't missed it. This next chapter, it's not built on desperation. It's built on clarity, on strength, on healed vision. Let them go. Let the confusion go. Let the cycles end. You're not stuck. You're standing on the edge of better, and it's closer than you think. So stand tall, lift your head, breathe deep, because better is not just possible, it's promised. And you're done surviving what was. Now it's time to start living what's next. Let me tell you something that might shake your entire mindset. You are not broken, you are becoming.
This pain you're carrying, this confusion you're sorting through, it's not a sign that you failed, it's evidence that you're growing. Healing doesn't look pretty. Becoming who you were always meant to be never starts with perfection. It starts with pieces, with scars, with hard questions and sleepless nights. You're not behind, you're not defective, and your story is not over. You've just been so focused on what fell apart, you forgot to see what's still being built. This isn't the end of you. It's the real beginning, the version of you that doesn't need approval to feel worthy. The version of you that's not afraid to walk away from what hurts. So no, you're not broken. You're being shaped. And what's coming out of this season, that's someone strong, someone whole, someone real. Ever walk past a house under construction? It doesn't look like much at first. Dust everywhere, exposed beams, tools scattered, noise, mess, chaos. But ask the builder, and they'll tell you it's right on schedule. That's you. You keep looking at the mess in your life thinking it means you've fallen apart. But maybe, just maybe, it means you're under construction. You're not collapsing. You're being fortified. The demolition had to happen. The tearing down of unhealthy patterns, broken thinking, toxic attachments. It all had to go, not to destroy you, but to make space for something stronger. A foundation that doesn't crack under pressure. Walls that don't collapse under silence. A roof that holds, even when the storms hit. That's what's being built in you. So stop judging your progress by the dust on the floor. Construction looks chaotic, but the blueprint says it's working. You're not falling apart. You're being built to last. Read this slowly. Let every word hit. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You've been told you were too emotional, too sensitive, too intense. But the truth, you were too real for people who couldn't handle depth. You've been convinced that you missed your window, that your best days are behind you. But time doesn't run out on someone who's still breathing. You are right on time. You've made mistakes. Yes, you've taken wrong turns. But none of that disqualifies you. It qualifies you to rise with compassion, with humility, with wisdom. Shame wants to hold you hostage. Regret wants to freeze you in the past. But truth wants to set you free. You still matter. You're still worthy. You still have something to offer. So lift your head. The world hasn't seen the best of you yet, and neither have you. It's easy to focus on what walked away, who left, who ghosted, who didn't choose you. But if you spend your life staring at what exited, you'll miss what's emerging inside you. Stop seeing what left. Start seeing what's rising. That strength, it didn't come easy. That confidence, it was born from being overlooked and surviving it. That peace you're learning to protect, you fought hard for it. What left was not the final word. It was just the clearing, the removal, the space making for what's next. You're becoming someone who doesn't settle, someone who doesn't beg, someone who doesn't shapeshift. Love leaves. That's the one who knows that loss isn't the end. It's the rising. So stop watching the past walk away. Turn around. Watch yourself rise. You keep asking, what's wrong with me? But let me give you the truth. Nothing's wrong with you. You don't need fixing. You need healing. And those are two very different things. Fixing says you're flawed. Healing says you're human. Fixing tries to erase the wound. Healing gives the wound meaning. You're not broken. You're bruised. And bruises heal when they're not pressed on every day. So stop returning to what reopens the cut. Stop believing you're too messed up to find peace. You are not a project. You are a person worthy of rest, of love, of understanding, of truth. Healing starts when you stop settling, when you stop explaining away abandoning your soul for someone else's comfort. It starts when you say, I don't have to stay in pain to prove I'm loyal. You are healing, not perfectly, not all at once, but every day you choose peace over pieces. You're getting stronger, and this healing, it's not the end of it. It's the beginning of something holy. That door closed. Now it's time to stop standing in the hallway. You've waited long enough, cried long enough, replayed the past enough. Let me be clear. What ended needed to end, not because you weren't enough, but because it was never going to grow into what you deserve. You're not stuck because of what left. You're stuck because you keep staring at a door that's already shut. If you keep staring at a shut door, you'll miss the one wide open behind you. And that door, it's not just opportunity. It's freedom. It's peace. It's healing. It's alignment. It's the version of your life where you no longer shrink just to be seen. So let me say it straight. Walk forward. Walk free. Walk loved. Walk aligned. No more begging to stay where you've already been released. No more waiting on someone to return who was never meant to stay. This isn't the end of your love story. This is the end of settling. It's the moment you stop proving, chasing, pleasing, and you start choosing yourself, choosing better, choosing peace over chaos, choosing truth over potential. It's not easy, but it's right. And when you walk through the right door, you won't have to force it to stay open. So don't tiptoe into this next chapter. Step boldly, with your head high and your soul steady. Because when God closes a door in love, it's only because He's opening a better one. Believe that. Walk like it. That door didn't crack. It slammed. It didn't drift shut. It was closed with clarity. So why are you still parked in the hallway like love is going to come back and unlock it for you? Let me tell you something. Standing in that in-between space, clinging to what already let go, is draining the strength you need to move forward. You've waited long enough, prayed for a sign. Here it is. This is your wake-up call. You don't live in waiting rooms. You weren't built for limbo. When love leaves and God closes the door, it's not your job to keep knocking. It's your job to start walking. You're looking at the door that locked you out, when God is behind you swinging another one wide open. But you can't see it, because you're still focused on the one that refused to open back up. Some doors closed because they were draining you dry. Some slammed shut to stop you from settling. That wasn't your ending. That was your exit. If you keep staring at what's shut, you'll miss what's meant for you. So turn around. The open door isn't quiet. It's calling your name. Not with confusion, not with fear, but with peace. And peace always leads you home. Let these words sink into your bones. Walk forward, because there's nothing left behind you but lessons. Walk free, because you've outgrown the change you once called comfort. Walk loved, because your worth isn't up for debate. It's already decided. Walk aligned, because this next chapter isn't about forcing love. It's about flowing in it. This isn't a chant. This is a declaration. Every step you take now is a step away from confusion and into clarity. From performing to being. From hoping they'll see you to finally seeing yourself. You thought this heartbreak was your breakdown, but it's your breakthrough. This isn't where the story stops. It's where the real love begins. Not just romantic love, soul love, God-aligned love, self-honoring love. The kind that doesn't make you question your value or beg to be chosen. The kind that feels like home. This isn't the end of your love story. It's the end of settling, and the beginning of everything better. So stop asking why it ended, and start walking toward what's next. Because when God closes a door in love, it's only because He's opening a better one. Believe that. Walk like it.